Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. We're looking at Bitcoin US dollar chart index on the hourly time frame, and this is the current price action. You can see we're kind of following this trend line. Now, note this trend line touches here, and if I move it upwards a little bit, a little bit more, perhaps. We have it touching here, here, and here. And here and here. Kind of there, kind of there. Actually, there and there. And if we move it up a little bit more, it has contact points there and there. Now, same with the top here. Touch contact points there and there. Now, why is this important? Well, we often I could draw multiple parallel lines here, and the price action will often come up and touch those lines in multiple spots. But what is pretty interesting here is if we go, I'm just going to switch it to the daily, we don't need to. Here is that line right there. Oh, we're on the daily, and this is interesting. Look at here. You can see it's contacting daily, the wicks on these daily. I didn't even notice that before. So that's very interesting. Now these dashed lines here are representations of the daily Gaussian channel. I can turn that on real quickly here. Maybe I can't. Gaussian channel. There we go. So you can see that here, these dashed lines I've connected to the bottom mean band and the top of the daily Gaussian channel, and that's to represent those as best as we can. I'm going to move this one up a little bit. Anyway, it's not going to be perfect, and I adjust these daily as the Gaussian channel changes because this is real fluid, let's say. But anyway, that's what those are. And I want to turn this off for right now. But here's our line. Now let's pull this line down here. It happens to be pretty parallel to the Gaussian channel, but that's just a coincidence. Or is it? I don't know. But it's also parallel to this purple line that I've drawn, this purple trend line. And I've also constructed a parallel channel, which is that dashed line, to coincide with the purple trend line. So anyway, let me put this back where I found it, up here. Now I will zoom out. Let me put it on auto, and we will zoom out. Here's our purple trend line that is parallel to our current price action. And I will zoom out more, and you can see that this purple line contacts our low on June 14th, our low on March 10th, and various lows here in January. There's multiple touches there in January. So you can zoom in here. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, our price action daily followed right along this trend line. So That's 3 major points of contact there. And it's forming a nice, huge ascending triangle. Now, the top of the triangle isn't real solid, it just has a general range, and that is because we are not testing a specific point at the top of this triangle here. We're testing kind of this range of, well, actually, this whole range of previous support from back here. So we're testing this whole support range right here. So that's why the top of the triangle isn't real cut and dry. Um, anyway, that the ascending triangles, the bullish pattern. Now I've drawn various. This is the other thing. There's not a clear target here. I'm not really sure. We don't have like a clear leg that goes from the bottom to the top here, but I've taken various. You know what? I didn't leave this arrow here. This arrow came from probably right here. Oh, I can just pull it. Let's see. Hey, what happened to my little X's? Yeah, that arrow came from right here, the smallest of targets. Where did I have him at? Well, you know what? I'd like to know what happened to my little X's that I drew there. Are they just showing up like on the weekly or something? Yeah, there they are. I guess they weren't visible. So I made little X's to mark the price targets. I guess my little arrow was over here a little bit more. Let's just put them where I had my X. There we go. So these are price targets. There are various measurements here within the triangle. I'm not sure exactly what's going to play. Well, all of them could play out, actually. We'll just stay here on the weekly. Um, this first one is at 37,000. Actually, about 37,777. That'd be an awesome target, wouldn't it? So as you can see, that's right here on this support line right here, which was significant support there, support here. So it has multiple instances and support back here, resistance there, resistance there, kind of closed there. So that's a good target for testing a support level right there. So I think it looks like we really could break out up to this level uh, pretty soon. You can see right now we are coming to the end of this triangle. I mean, by the end of August, well, by September, let's just say September, we will be outside this triangle one way or the other. And with the very, very low volatility and sideways action here, we're ready to bust a move. I mean, we're ready to bust big time, and we're in the right place in the cycle for that to happen as well. Um, these other dashed lines that are going up here are parallel channels. This purple one with the blue center line is following this trend, the purple trend line here, and this other lighter dashed parallel channel is the what I have called the elevator channel, and it goes back to, well, they both go back here to the FTX collapse. Yes, FTX collapse, and contain a lot of the price action. You can see where we've gone up and down and up and down and up and down between the top and bottom of these both each of these parallel channels. Um, so these are my price targets. That one was around 37,000, and the time frame for that is mid-August, just a few weeks here. And I've tried to line these targets up with spots on these parallel channels that we've been trading in as realistic time frames that we meet these targets. This other one here is late October, and we have 48,000, and that also matches up over here with this high. So these targets are coinciding with significant points here of previous support and resistance. There's lots of contact points here, support there, resistance there. Anyway, it's kind of just a range here, but you can see this is mostly resistance here that we'll be hitting. So who knows? This is way out there, but it's just something to consider. This other one way up here, 54,000. Now that's significant for another reason, and I'll show you here in a second. 54,000 is resistance here, support here, support here here we're on the weekly time frame. So on this wick, on these candle bodies here. So if I was on a daily, you might even see more support and resistance contact points. But before I get into the other reason why that is significant, I do have these dotted lines drawn here because I do believe it seems like after we've tested this area, which we've done for months and months and months for support and built a nice structure in there, it seems logical that we would test this area as well, at least for a little bit, and form some price action in this area. So possibly what we would do is maybe come up here and then come back down and build some price action in this range, and then another move up here. I'm considering maybe as a possibility, and again that would be mid-August, and this would be back in September, which tends to be a bearish month, and then up here in October and November possibly. And continue. Anyway, we'll delve more into that as time goes on. These red lines here are the mean band. The lower one's the mean band, and the upper one's the top of the weekly Gaussian channel, as you can see here. Now we've broken through here, and Everybody should be well familiar with what typically happens. We busted through here. Let me make it bigger. This is a typical action that happens every cycle. We did big consolidation here. Look at the last video because I go into this thoroughly. But anyway, we've come through, tested, quote, the top of the mean band, which is really testing this 28.8 low right here. It doesn't really have anything to do with the mean band, or possibly it seems that the top of the mean band seems that the top of the weekly Gaussian channel happens to every cycle. Also seems to be in the same range as the previous lows. Now I do want to show you something else with the Gaussian channel, and that has to do with that upper target that I made at 54,000. On every cycle back here in 2015, I've drawn a dotted line at the top of the Gaussian channel for that cycle. And after we've broken through, retested the top of the Gaussian channel on the weekly time frame, we've typically come up and busted through that previous high of the Gaussian channel from back before our bottom. So this is it in 2015, and let's measure that from where the Gaussian channel turned green and the top of the Gaussian channel to the top here. That's 118%. To that line is 90%, and you can see that this is on a weekly time frame. We had 2 weeks above it, and then multiple weeks right at that line. That's back in 2016. Now here in 2019, same thing. I've drawn this line at the top of the Gaussian channel from the before the previous bottom, and after we busted through, came back down and retested it. Now 2019's a little sloppy, and I don't like this, and I've gone over that, and others have too. And I've clearly stated all the reasons in the previous video why that is. So go back and look at that if you want. But here you can see we did come up here earlier than we probably should have. That's why this is sloppy, and we dump back down into it. But after dumping back down into it, we did come up to it again, here and here. And I'm not gonna measure that because this whole thing was sloppy and extended and up and down and up and down, and I don't believe that we're gonna do anything similar. I think what we'll do is more similar to the previous time in 2015, 2016. But you can see that this line at the top of the Gaussian channel here was a target that we came up to after we came through from our bottom. So that's where we're currently at right now. We've come through the Gaussian channel. We've spent significant time traveling sideways and testing previous resistance. Now, in the previous video, I've shown back here, we came through and came back down and tested the mean band, or the top of the Gaussian channel, for support, and also this previous resistance for support, and then spent a long time going sideways before going up. Here, we spent a long time going sideways before coming out and testing the top of the Gaussian channel. So we kind of did it in reverse, and I believe that we're ready to move on and upwards with more significant moves here. And so this is the top of the Gaussian channel from before our bottom. So it makes sense that this is where we're headed. And probably coming up here, and up like this, heading into the halving event next year. This seems very reasonable to me. It keeps us in our channels, our parallel channels that we formed. Um, so that's what I'm looking at here. I'm not going to go on and on about it. What else is? Oh, this green line is our 10-year trend line. Goes all the way back to 2013, and this is on a weekly time frame. Keep in mind. So let's get rid of this. You can see how we've hit this 3 times here, and then we fell below it. But I've drawn this, and it has spot on. I mean, these contact points are spot on. Here, three weeks in a row, right here. I mean, it's significant. We wicked right down to it. I mean, we came right down to it on the weekly time frame. And here you can see how significant this trend line has been over the years. Um, and so we fell way below it, came up a little bit below it, up, kind of inchwormed along it here, came way up above it for 2021. We've gone below it, came above it, gone below it now, and ready to go back above it. And we should, because we came for this cycle high, we came a little bit above it, here. For this cycle high, came way above it, and for this cycle high, I imagine we'll come way above it again, and that puts us. Let me turn the auto off so I can get up there. I think we'll be coming way up here in this range into a year, a little over a year from now, into the 120, 100, between 125 and 200,000 up here. That's at 150,000. Anyway, we'll be coming up here somewhere in a year. But that's way out there for now. We're dealing with this back here, and our triangle. It's a big deal. This triangle is a big deal, and we're about to bust through. So there you have it. And subscribe, hit the notification bell, and um, I'm not going to predict any short-term movements here. It's going to be really volatile. We got the FOMC meeting tomorrow. Thursday, we got the early release of the the first release of the GDP numbers. Friday, we have futures expirations. Got a lot of stuff going on, and the month is closing too. So I'm going to be really interested to see the monthly figures on some of the indicators. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks. Bye.